Just Groove. A little more.
Alright, we're here with another replay review. This time we have Solachis. Slachis, who is an Xbox player. Love it. He is also gold at his, I forget. But anyway, he posted on the 84 Reddit that he wants to look at a game of his. Now, for some reason, I came back to look at the game, and it's not on there. This has happened to me, too. Some of my games seem to disappear on the reviewer. Don't know why that happens. But he wanted me to look at a game on Lipany, where he played as the Ottoman and lost, and it's gone. So I just picked this game because he's Ottoman, and he lost on this one. I'm sorry I can't do the one that you want me to look at, but hopefully this makes up for it. So he's Ottoman playing against the French on Prairie. Before we get into it, let's start the matchup. Ottoman's actually pretty good against French because of their Sipahi. That's not to say Sipahi take on knights, but the French are going to go knights and most likely archers, so your response needs to be spearmen, Sipahi. And Sipahi are just really good. They're much better horsemen, so you have a chance to take on this fight and do pretty good against the French. If you can get to castle, you can get Janissaries, and Janissaries absolutely destroy knights. So you have a lot of good counters to the French that other civilizations don't have. So let's jump in and see what goes on this game and give you advice as we go. Okay, I do love the military school opening against the French. One, if you have time, you can send the spear down and poke them off gold to delay knights. Two, you can just get them to protect your own base and have free spears to defend yourself with, so I love that. Okay, so the question is going to be, where is your military school placement? No. Actually, no, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So one thing that you have to kind of master the Ottoman is placing your production correct. You have to put your production in the back, which you have, because you want to protect it from being attacked. Military schools are really important. Two, you need to put your blacksmith in a place that can maximize the amount of buildings you can get around it. So what you see some high-level players do is they put their blacksmith like right next to their TC, and then you can put a bunch of production around it. Another thing, you just want to toy around with. I kind of would have liked it better up here just because there's so much more room. Over here, you're going to have some space cut out. But I think this is fine. I think this is a fine placement. One thing I do want to say is on Prairie, you want to go 2 scouts. You want to go 2 scouts because there's so many sheep on this map. So my suggestion is you go 2 scout and you do this scouting pattern. So you went down and over is what it looks like you're going to do, and circle back around. Don't do that. The reason being is that your opponent's often going to beat you to your spot because they're going to go center. So here's what you do with your scouting pattern. If you do 1 scout, you go out until you see the opponent's scout, or halfway, whichever comes first. Then you curve off, take the sheep, drop off, and do basically this sort of circle here. Now if you go 2 scouts, like you should on Prairie, because there's so many sheep, your first scout, you go out, over, and back. The second scout will go out and over like this. Because you need to get enough sheep back by roughly the 2 or 3 minute mark to be able to make sure your villagers don't run out of sheep to harvest. Okay. So I'm going to be really looking forward to here's what's your opening build order here. So here's what you need to do. Here's what will help you out. Oh no, never mind. You got it. Here's what you should do to make this more efficient. When those 5 villagers come back from the stone, you sent them to sheep. But here's what you should notice about your resources. The second you put down the military school, you only have 50 wood left, which is enough to get a house, but not a gold mine. So what you should do is, when those 5 villagers drop off stone, immediately send them to a straggler tree and have them cut it. Do 1 round to get 50 more wood, which would allow you to get your house and a mining camp. So to repeat, these 5 vills should go from stone straight to a straggler tree, and then they go to sheep. Cool. Because now you're going to be delayed. And now you're sending this is going to take a little bit longer. So this was when scouting, you want as much as possible, not retread. So you came up here, then ran up here, and then came back. You should have dropped off the sheep when you first came around, so you don't stop. So you want to get as much of the map seen and covered without repeating walking, like, without repeating where you've been, basically, should be the goal. Okay, now you need to head over, and actually, at this point, I would say it'd be a good idea to get to, you need to get to your opponent's base so you know where your spearman's going. Yeah, there you go. Here's the thing, 4 on wood at this point is a waste, yeah. So here's what you should do. Once you get your wood back, and you've built this lumber camp, you should do 3 on gold. Oh, let me get my writer here. Your plan should be 3 on gold, 8 to 9, I forget how much, it's been a while. So 3 on gold, 8 to 9 on food, and then you start sending to wood. Hell, you could even just keep doing, you could keep rallying to food until you age up. And then once you age up with 4 on the landmark. You put 4 on food, and then split your villagers depending on what you wanted to do once you enter feudal, which, against the French, you need to get a barracks up as soon as possible, because you want your military school to be on Sipahi. Just in general. So you should want to immediately get villagers sent to wood and stone so you can get military schools and barracks down. Don't lose scout! Okay, so you see the gold up here. Okay, look. Yeah. So your village, so you have to, 1, go grab this sheep here, but 2, you need to be very careful with your spearmen here. Like, keep poking him off, but you can't lose the spearman. He's very, very valuable. 2, I want you to notice how much of the map you haven't seen yet. This is going to be important later because you need to know what's on the map. Where are the resources on this map? Because later on, a big part of fighting the French is raiding their resources to slow down their push. If you don't know where the resources are, you can't raid with it. But if you scout around the base, you see, oh, you know, there's a deer pack here, there's berries here, there's a gold here. You know where to check with your units later to try to catch villagers and push them off resources. Right now you're kind of flying blind in that department. Good. Yep, very nice. But you should be, so here's how you know if you didn't split your villagers correctly on the age up. If you hit 200 gold before you hit 400 food. So you should be already upgrade. You have too much on wood. Make sure you make a house. You make a house. Okay. Nope. Okay. Here's the big thing. Twin minaret madrass needs to be put in a place that is safe. This is not safe. Since it's on the side that's near your opponent could easily run knights in, bring archers up, and poke at this. It should go, in my opinion, right here. Because it keeps it a little bit back behind the base. Now, the one positive of the way you placed it is that the berry bushes are towards the TC, which is nice. But you should always try to avoid putting important buildings on the front side closer to your opponent where it's easier for them to poke or attack it. Of the bear shop, so at this point, the second you age up, get off gold. These villagers should not be on gold. You need to be having villagers on stone, 3 to 4 on stone. Getting the stone so you can get military schools. So now you have too much on wood, and here's a mistake. There you go. I have to say you need 4 on food to continuously make villagers. Here's the thing. I like the tower on the gold. This is good. The tower should be here or kind of here, though. Yeah, the tower should be here or here. And then you use stone to get an emplacement upgrade. But yeah, this backside actually doesn't really protect you. The tower on the front is a little bit of a waste. Don't have that tower there. You should just have units there to protect. The reason being is because towers you can't move. Because once you place a tower, it's there forever. Units you can actually move around. So it's always better to have units rather than towers when possible. You can protect these villagers with these units. Now, if your villagers were out over here, like on this berry bush, then yeah, just put up a tower, because your units might not be able to be there. But your units right here are doing enough to defend these. I would just put the spears literally right on top of the villagers. But like, you see how you have too much gold? Like, what are you using this gold for? So your opponent. So let's see. One, with your scout, you don't have enough information. What you should be doing with your scout is doing continuous circles around the outside of your opponent's base. Checking gold, checking stone, are you going second TC, checking the resources, like, has he made units yet? What you are lucky enough to see is that they're making an archery range. So this tells you he's probably going into pressure immediately. If they drop an archery range from the go, that means they want to attack you. So he's going to probably want to go immediate knights and archers. So you need Sipahi and spearmen. And this is why having your age up delay to the 7-minute mark is so bad, basically. Is because the second you hit feudal, you can start getting Sipahis out of your military school. So you need to make sure you tighten up your build order so that you're getting to feudal as soon as possible, so you can be more prepared to defend. Because if he gets 4 archers here, your spearmen die. Wheelbarrow right here would be really nice. But once again, so the idea of macro of how your resources are split, you need to split your resources for your goal. If your goal is to build up units to fight your opponent, you don't need this much gold. That's why those 3 villagers could have been on stone earlier on, and then once you get enough stone for 2 military schools and an emplacement, like arrow slits, which is a good emplacement early on, then you send them back to gold. Get wheelbarrow, because your villagers often have to run from French knights, and the wheelbarrow increases their movement speed, and make sure as your villagers cut down wood that you're building more lumber camps so they're not walking as much. And then your opponent got more sheep because he actually scouted the entire part of the map. Now you're going to lose your scout, and that's bad because you don't know what's going to happen. At this point, I actually think it's worthwhile to drop a stable and get another scout, because you need to know when your opponent's attacking. Okay, these are good splits, but you need to be making units. And that's why, like, so these towers delayed production buildings, and now you have all these resources that you can't spend. My suggestion is that you go Fieldwork or Anatolian Hills. Anatolian Hills allows you to stay in your base longer, which is what you're going to need. Fieldwork gives you those imams, which can heal, group heal, which is really nice. So either one of those. But right now you have too many spears, because if he does a massive archers, you're donezo. Yeah, get wheelbarrow. No. So you got fitted leatherwork first. I would suggest not doing that. The one you should get first is iron undermesh. That's because his archers do... How much do archers do? 1 second. Archers do 5, and he already got the archer upgrade for 6. So you getting the defensive one to get +1 dramatically reduces the amount of damage. Oh my god. Okay. This is good to know. So iron under... Sorry, I was very surprised. Iron under mesh does much more bang for your buck on protecting your villagers than this, because knights have like 22 damage, and so reducing it by 1 doesn't really do much. Here's where scouting has killed you. He's right now naked trading down the right side here. Your spearman could be right here killing all his traders. He doesn't even have knights yet. All he has is 4 archers. But since you never scouted all the way around, you never knew what landmark he went. Since you never knew what landmark he went, you didn't know what he was doing. Since you knew what he was doing, you didn't react correctly. Now he's about to go castle. He's gonna have so much gold that he can mass knights and kill you. This game came down to you did not scout. That's why I suggested the second you lost your scout, you need to be making... Right now you're making units blind. You actually don't know what he has. And in fact, if you were scouting, you'd know your military is much larger than his. You could go attack him right now. And be successful. If you want to go archers, do double broadocks. Here's the thing for economic upgrades. Whenever you have about 10 or more villagers on a resource, you should get the economic upgrades for it. So now you go castle. He's also going castle. But yeah, you're just flying blind here. You don't even know what he's doing. You go second TC, which he did in second TC. You didn't know that because you didn't check his resources. but sure. Won't hurt. You know, method drums, okay. Well, you went archers, so sure. But here's the thing, right? This will be nice when you get crossbows, but archers against knights won't do anything. You need Janissaries right now. I would go to Janissaries. So let's look at your villager splits, right? 17, none, 3, 3. That's because you're building this, but you need way more on gold if you're going to do crossbows. As I said, Janissaries I think is your best bet. Your best setup would be spears, Janissaries, Magna. Or men-at-arms. Well, that's a lot of gold, right? 20, 100. Spearmen, Janissaries, Magna would be your best setup here. But now once again, we're sitting here going, what's happening? You don't know what's happening. You're kind of just piddling away, and he is booming. Let's look at the income per minute. He's destroying you in income per minute. Because you have 55 economic units, and he has 88, and here's why. He went 2 TC into trade. So he was basically on 3 TC this entire time. So he has 13 traders. Each trader is getting 69 gold. And he produces villagers faster than you. And he's not even producing villagers very well, it seems like. But well, you got auto villager. But now he's building this force that's gonna... Basically, you missed your window. A window is a moment of time where your attack is at its best. If opponent goes trade, your window is attacking before he gets enough traders to then buy all the units that he needs to get and overrun you with units. You missed that time, and so now you're playing behind. And even with all these military schools, it's gonna be really hard to produce it. You're doing stone walls, and why are we walling? He goes imp, and now you're dead. So this was a game that became a boom off for no reason. At no point did you try to be aggressive. At no point did you try to attack him. And that's the thing, you have to be willing to attack. And the reason he didn't attack, you didn't know what he had. So you're going to assume he has more than you, because you never scouted. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. I know I'm kind of repeating myself. Also, when you go castle, get relics, but you just don't know what's going on. You go imp, great bombard, yep. I would actually get the elite army tactics first. You need your units to survive. This is wild. I've never seen people wall off terrain before. Alright, now he's coming in with 26 Royal Knights. He had what? He has 5 Royal Cannons. This is wild. See, this is like the villagers are coming in, boy. Oh no! No, kill the knights! No! But you're trying to get on his crossbows. And then the Maginals get here, no! If the Maginals had been there from the jump, you might have actually held. He doesn't even care what Maginals. Brutal. Yoy. Alright. So let's talk about what we need to do that game. What this game really came down to, one, look up an Ottoman build order. And if you don't like the build order, how to start the game is key. I talked about it, so I'm not going to repeat it, but you want to get to feudal as soon as possible. 2, you need to scout. You need to scout. When your opponent hits feudal, you need to know what landmark did my opponent do. What is my opponent trying to do, and respond to that. That doesn't mean you don't have a plan. You should have a plan. What are you trying to do when you enter the game? Are you trying to attack in feudal? Are you trying to get to castle and then fight? Are you trying to defend until imp? Whatever your goal is, you need to have one. But adjust what your opponent's doing. I might want to do a castle push, but if I see my opponent go trade, I'm attacking feudal because you can't let the trade get set up. And that's the weakest point, is when they're trying to get trade set up. But since you didn't scout, you didn't know what was going on. Third, be aggressive. When you make units, even if you were defending, go out with your units and try to raid. Get 4 or 5 Sipahi and go raid resources. Go do something so your opponent doesn't get to sit there and just build their ultimate comp. Because in the end, you lost because you let him just sit there and do whatever he wanted until his military was just better than yours. But I think if you scout and actually think, what is my opponent doing? What should I do in response to that? You'll start doing a lot better. And then once you're good at scouting, you can move on to the next skill. But the first thing is scouting and responding. Once you feel like you're doing that and you've hit a wall from that, you'll start doing a lot. Then we can move on to the next skill. If you're ever interested in coaching, let me know. I do paid coaching. If that's ever something you're interested in, message me on Discord and you can see that. But besides that, really enjoyed watching your game. Let me know if you have any questions or any feedback, and good luck on your future games.